What's up, Tweener heads? Welcome back to another video and welcome back to another story time segment. Last week we talked about the first time I played a crybaby and how he still beat me. Still not sure how that happened, but if you want to go check that out, I can leave a link in the description to last week's video as well. But today we are going to be talking about the first time I traveled overseas for an ITF tournament when I was living in Brazil, as well as I got my first points in the ITF, with a bit of a twist at the end. To start off, my first tournament that I traveled to was in Uruguay when I was living in Brazil. It was in ITF level... What level was it? I can't even remember the level.
Before we move on this video, I just want to point out for those who do not know the grading scale for the ITF tournaments, there are 6 levels. Super A is the highest and 5 is the lowest. I was at 5. So, it was not that high of a tournament.
Nope.
Good job, Philip.
In the ITF level when I was growing up, I was about 18 at the time. It was the first time that I traveled overseas from Brazil to Uruguay, and that was a lot of fun actually. Uruguay for me was probably one of the best places you could play tennis. It's a perfect combination of weather, clay. It was just a great atmosphere overall. I was a bit nervous. I didn't really know what to expect when I was getting there because it was my first time in Uruguay, but I traveled with my favorite coach who unfortunately left him midway through the tournament, but really helped me along the way. Because during that tournament, I was able to play into the qualifiers first. I won my first 2 rounds, and then the last round I was able to get to before getting into the main draw. So when I made it to the 3rd round of the qualifiers, right before making it to the main draw, I unfortunately lost. But thankfully, because of the lucky loser spot, I waited around a little bit longer because I was traveling with my club team at the time as well. I was able to get into the main draw, which I was really happy about because it was probably my 2nd or 3rd time getting into a main draw of an ITF level tournament. And I was super excited. When I found out who I was playing, I was actually playing the twin brother of the guy I lost to in qualifiers. So I really didn't get that much luck when that happened. I really couldn't believe I was playing the twin brother. It was funny because one was a righty, one was a lefty too. And it was one of those moments where I was so mad. I was so mad because I lost to him in the 1st round of the main draw as well because I had to lose to both. I had to lose to both brothers, so it was really annoying because one probably gave tips to the other. But it was just one of those moments where it was just so frustrating because I just did. If I lost to one, I didn't want to lose to the other. But that's how life works sometimes, right? I wasn't feeling myself. I was just getting so frustrated about. I was really focused on just winning. I just wanted to win the match. I didn't want to lose to both brothers. And I remember that feeling of just anger halfway through the 2nd set when I was losing. And it's not one of the best feelings because you want to win so much that you just can't push yourself to that limit. And I was just pissed. I was just really pissed, but what can you do? That's a part of tennis. But I was able to play doubles as well, and that brings me to how I won my first points and gained my first world ranking in the ITFs. I also played doubles during the tournament. This is how I won my first world ranking in the ITFs. I mean, it wasn't that much to brag about, but it was still a really cool experience. I played with a Danish kid that was training out of an academy in Florida at the time, and he traveled to Uruguay as well. It was really far travel. I don't know how he made it there. But he lost in singles as well, and we played doubles together. We won our 1st round pretty easily. And then in the 2nd round, we ended up playing... We played the 4th seed in the tournament, actually. We played the 4th seed in the tournament. And it was an Argentinian kid and a Uruguayan kid, actually. It was really cool. And we went to 3 sets. We were playing really well, and we were making them really frustrated. We were attacking really well. We were hitting our shots. And we actually won the match, and it actually gave us a couple ITF points, and I didn't know I won points actually until after the tournament, and it was so much fun to have that experience and to be able to say that I was ranked in the world. Again, not that much to brag about, but it was just a great accomplishment for me because that's something I was working for so long. And the guy was a great partner as well to play with. And unfortunately, we did lose in the quarterfinals of the doubles tournament, but overall, that experience was just a lot of fun. I remember the feeling of winning, and it was just one of those experiences that you can never forget. I mean, especially growing up and playing tennis. I loved it. It was one of the best experiences that I could have. Now, the last part of the trip was traveling back to Brazil, where I was living at the time. I was one of the last people to leave Uruguay because of how far I was getting into the tournament with doubles and singles and stuff like that. So I was there from Friday to the following Thursday. And when I left on Thursday, I was going to the airport with one of my other friends that trained at the same club that I did. And when we got there, his flight was a little earlier, so he just went right in. So I was waiting for my flight at the time, and when I was waiting for my flight, I was trying to check in, and they said, sorry, you can't come in. And I go, why not? They go, your visa has expired. What? What are you talking about? He said, yeah, your Brazilian visa to get back into the country expired. I go, how? How is this possible? How is this happening to me? Can you explain why? And he goes, yeah, so apparently the day you got in to Uruguay was the day your Brazilian visa expired. I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. I get on the phone with my dad. I'm going, Dad, I explained to him what's going on. I'm like, Dad, you gotta help me. Dad, you gotta help me. And I was in the airport for at least 6 hours before I figured out what was going on with my visa. I had to get help from lawyers on the phone. I was trying to get everything together. And by the time I got my temporary visa back onto my passport and shipped, like faxed to the people at the airport, they go, oh, sorry, you missed your flight. I go, this is a joke. This can't be happening to me. This can't be happening.
You cannot be serious!
And then I got stuck there for another 3 hours. I was literally waiting in an airport for 9 hours waiting for this because of my visa expiring. That was the scariest experience I ever had traveling because I didn't know what was going on. I was going from one foreign country to another foreign country that I was living in, and I didn't know the rules, I didn't know the laws, and I started to literally panic and bawl because I couldn't believe what was happening to me. I really didn't know. I barely spoke Spanish. I barely spoke Portuguese at the time. I was literally trying to communicate with everyone with the Italian I know and the English I know. Is the worst experience of my life. I promise you that. You never want to be stuck in a foreign country. But thankfully I made another flight out and I was able to make it home within like 10-12 hours of just waiting in an airport, taking the flight later that night. And I mean, so next time you're living in a foreign country, make sure your visa's up to date. Make sure when you get to the new country, it's up to date so you can get back into it. Yeah, that's my that's my advice. So it goes from good to bad to ugly. I mean, that was probably one of the scariest experiences that I could ever have as a pro tennis player traveling. I mean, it went from one of the best moments of my tennis career to probably one of the worst moments. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's story time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like on this video, and if you want to comment, leave a good comment down below of what kind of other stories you want to hear, as well as subscribe to Tweener Head Tennis. Make sure to check us out on all our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to check out all those. And if you want to check out behind the scenes, go to tweenerheadtennis.com. If you want to check out our cool merchandise, if you want to check out these cool Tweener Head sweatshirts as well as Tweener Head t-shirts, stickers, make sure to check out that. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. And I hope to see you guys soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks, guys.